Hi everyone, welcome. I'm Shilpi, and in today's class we will be working on splits, which is also called as Hanumansana in Sanskrit. And this class is mostly a drill-based class weaved through a vinyasa. So we will be working kind of like flowing like a vinyasa class, but also holding a couple of poses for about 30 seconds to a minute. So I recommend using 2 yoga blocks. If you do not have yoga blocks at home, keep something handy that is sturdy, like a stack of books or maybe 2 huge water bottles, a smaller bench, or anything that helps you to bring the ground closer to you. And maybe have a yoga strap handy if you have it at home. If you do not have a yoga strap, you can use a long scarf, maybe a towel, or something that can help you to bring your foot closer to yourself when we come into a forward fold, right? And yeah, that's it. That's pretty much about it. So grab everything that you need for this practice today. Once you have everything, we are going to start in child's pose at the back side of the mat. All right, so when you're ready, just meet me back in child's pose.
Gently as you arrive in child's pose, we'll take a scan of our body. Again, if it feels good, you can open your knees as wide as the mat or maybe keep them slightly closer to your center line. And before we start to move, before we start to play on our mat, I invite you to take this time to just simply connect with your breath. And without trying to modify anything, without trying to alter anything, see if you can accept your breath, accept yourself as it is in the now, in the moment. Again, know that when we work on our splits, it takes a lot of devotion, it takes a lot of dedication to show up on our mat, to keep on working on our practice. And if you move from a place of instant gratification, where every time you step on your mat, you have this idea that this is how my practice is supposed to look like, then we miss out on the joy of this practice because we are so attached to the results now. So I invite you to let go of any attachment, of any expectation that you might have from this practice. And just accept yourself as it is, accept your practice as it is. Having complete faith in yourself, having complete faith in your practice, and knowing that the pose, the asana that we are working on is just a byproduct of this practice, is just the byproduct of our sadhana. As you inhale this time, start to wiggle your fingertips on the mat, maybe feeling the texture underneath your fingertips. Maybe start to walk your fingertips away from yourself, finding length from your tailbone until your fingertips. And slowly rooting your fingertips down, lifting your elbows off the mat, lifting your armpit off the mat, even lifting your forehead up. Start to roll yourself forward into a tabletop. And as and when you arrive on all fours, spread your fingers nice and wide, readjust yourself as you like. Wrist below your shoulders, knees below your hips, maybe the top of your feet is also on the mat. We'll start by taking a few cats and cow as we move through our practice. So before we even start to do it, start to push the floor away from yourself, creating some engagement in your upper body. Maybe you can feel that in your shoulder blades as you start to push the floor away from yourself. Keeping a neutral gaze, maybe gazing between your thumb or gazing at the front of your mat. As you inhale this time, starting from your tailbone, start to arch your back, shoulder blades together, chin away from the chest. Inhale in. As you exhale, starting from your tailbone, start to round your back, lower, middle, upper, chin to chest, eyes to navel. Inhale, arch. See if you can remember the shape. Exhale, round. Few more time like this on your own. Continue to move statically through your cats and cow. If you will rather like to take more dynamic movements by moving yourself in one direction, feel free to do it. Just going as fast, as slow as your body permits you today, as you feel in your spine, as you feel through your muscles. Just taking this time for yourself, maybe setting an intention for your practice today. If anything comes to your mind, any syllable, any affirmation, any mantra that you like to repeat, just bring that in your mind as you move through your cats and cow. If you are moving in any particular direction, make sure you also move in the opposite direction as well. Just take few more breaths over here, moving any way, moving in any direction that feels authentic to you right now. Know that it is your practice and every body is different. Every day that you step on your mat, you're going to feel different. So honor the space, honor your practice, and see what happens next. Be a witness of your own practice. Beautiful. Just completing your cats and cow this time. Find a neutral spine at the center of the mat. Knees below your hips once again in case they have started to drift apart. This time pointing your fingertips to your knees. We'll just quickly stretch out our wrists. So push the floor away from yourself. As you inhale, lean forward. As you exhale, lean back as far as it feels good. Maybe even allowing the heels of your palms to lift up, giving your wrist, your forearms a gentle stretch. Doing this few more times. Inhale, lean forward. Exhale, lean back. Inhale, lean forward. Exhale, lean back. One last time. Inhale, lean forward. Exhale, lean back. Wherever you are, we're just going to pause there. Make sure your chin is away from the chest. You're gazing at the front of the mat or maybe in between your hands. Staying here for 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Exhale, slowly come back to center, flipping your index finger back to the front. This time you will tuck your toes, press your knees up, downward facing dog. Once again, as and when you arrive in your down dog, maybe this is the first of the day, maybe you already had your practice before. Again, it doesn't really matter. Just start to do or start to take any movement that feels good to you right now. Maybe bending one knee at a time. Maybe nodding out your head into a no. Maybe nodding out your head into a yes. Once again, checking in with yourself now that you have moved your body a little bit. See if anything has shifted, anything that has changed physically or mentally. And as and when you're ready, start to find stillness in your down dog, pushing the floor away from yourself, from all of the 10 fingertips. Just rooting your foot down on the mat, even gently tucking your chin to the chest, gazing at your knees or gazing at your navel. As you inhale this time, lifting both the heels off the mat as if you're trying to balance on your tippy toes. Bringing your gaze forward, start to walk forward with as many steps as you like, coming into forward fold with an asana to the front of the mat. And gently bend your knees, grabbing your opposite elbows, coming into a ragdoll. Start to sway side to side. Now imagine as if you're holding 250 pounds of weight in your hand, which is dragging you down. So keeping that length in your back. Your knees can be generously bent. Your eyes can be to the front of the mat or allowing your head to hang heavy, gazing at the back of the mat. Beautiful. Slowly start to find stillness in your forward fold, allowing yourself to hang heavy, maybe releasing your hands down on the mat. As you inhale this time, hands on your mat or hands on the shin, lift your chest halfway up. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, lift your chest halfway up. Exhale, fold over your legs. One last time, inhale, lift your chest halfway up. Find that cow tilt once again, just like we did when we were on all fours, arching from your tailbone, upper back, middle back, finding that length from your hamstrings. Hands can stay on your shin if you like, if it is too much to bring your hands on your mat this early in the practice. Exhale when you're ready, bend your knees, release your hands down on the mat, step your left leg back, right leg back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up as if in slow motion. Keep your foot flexed. Inhale, bend your knee, open up your hips. Imagine heels to your glutes. Inhale, come back to center. Point your toes, three-legged dog. Knee to your nose. Step your leg forward in between your hands. Tap your left knee down and tuck your toes. Inhale, you can keep your fingertips down on the mat if this feels good, or else bringing both the hands on your block and keep on pulsing your weight forward. Almost imagine the top of your left thigh is trying to face down on the mat. Inhale, you can stay here. As you exhale, press your hands on your block or on the mat, straighten your right leg, coming into half split, point your right toe up to the ceiling. Inhale, lean forward. Exhale, lean back. Flossing out our hips, doing this few more times on your own. Keep on leaning front and back, going as fast or as slow as you would like to move in this practice. More seconds over here. Beautiful. This time when you're ready, you're going to pause in that half split. Point your right toe up to the ceiling. Even lift your chest halfway up as if you're in a cow tilt, dragging your hands on that block. And if it feels good, you can bend your elbows, keeping that spine, fold over your front leg. If this feels too much, keep your hands straight and keep your gaze forward, maybe even gazing at the tip of your nose. Inhale, once again, come in that lunge, release your block sideways, take your left toe, left knee off the mat, stepping back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lifting your heels up, chin to chest, roll yourself forward, coming into a plank. Tap your knees down, untuck your toes, chest and chin on the mat. Inhale, sliding into cobra, squeeze your inner thighs together, gazing up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg off the mat, keep your foot flexed, bend your knees, squeezing your left heel to your glutes. This time, once again, as you release in three-legged dog, point your toe, bringing left knee to your nose. Step your leg forward in between your hands. Right knee down, untuck your toes, grab your blocks if you like. Inhale, lifting your chest away from your left leg, maybe even gazing up if it feels good. As you exhale, press your hands on the mat or on your block. Straighten your left leg, coming into half Hanuman, half split. Now continue to move between these two shapes on your own for about 30 seconds. Again, as you move between these two poses, see if you can give yourself your undivided attention. Just observing how do you feel in your hamstrings, how do you feel in your hip flexes. Now, depending upon the time of the day that you're practicing this, it's going to feel really different. For me personally, I feel that during the first half of the day, my body is slightly stiff. And then during the later half, I'm able to go into splits with almost little to no warm-up. So it depends on person to person. So really start to be aware of your own bodily patterns. Just observing when do you feel stiff, when do you feel slightly more flexible. And it's going to look different day to day. So once again, not attaching ourselves to the outcome, but just being a witness of this bodily sensations. Beautiful. When you had enough this time, you're going to pause in your half Hanuman, half split, pointing your left toe up to the ceiling. Now make sure your right knee and right hip stays in one line, pressing your hands on your block. Once again, keeping that cow tilt from your upper body. So most of the time, our subconsciously we touch into chest and try to fold over our legs, and this just makes us feel as if we are going deeper into our pose, but in reality it is just a mirage. We are not really going deeper into this pose. So rather than keeping your spine rounded, at least for today's practice, see if you can find that cow tilt from your lower back, pressing your left heel down on the mat as if you can kiss your toes. So moving in the direction as if you can kiss your toes, and if keeping all this as it is, if you can bend your elbows, feel free to do it. Beautiful. Inhale, lean forward, coming in that lunge shape. Release your block sideways. Tuck your right toe, right knee off the mat. Stepping back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lifting your heels up. Roll yourself forward into a plank. Tap your knees, chest and chin on the mat. Ashtanga pranam. Untuck your toes. Slide yourself into cobra. Inner thighs together. Squeezing your ankles in. Exhale, pressing back. Downward facing dog. Beautiful. Moving a little bit quicker from here. Inhale, lift your right leg up. Knee to your nose. Step your leg forward in between your hands. Left knee down. Untuck your toes. Inhale, gazing up. Exhale, step your left leg forward. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, rising up. Extending both the hands up to the ceiling. Gaze at your fingertips. Exhale, hands at your heart center. Samasthiti. Inhale, extend both the hands up. Fold over your legs, Uttanasana. Step your left leg back, left knee down, untuck your toes, fingers tip will stay on the mat, gaze up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward into a plank, knees, chest, chin. Inhale into cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left leg up. Knee to your nose, step it forward, right knee down, untuck your toes, gaze up. Exhale, step your right leg forward, fold over your legs. Inhale, rise up, extending both the hands up to the ceiling, gaze at your fingertips, hands at your heart center, Samasthiti. Inhale, extend both the hands up, and fold over your legs, Uttanasana, forward fold. Step your right leg back, right knee down, untuck your toes, gaze up. Exhale, step your left leg back, downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward into a plank, knees, chest and chin. Inhale into cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up, knee to your nose, step it forward. Left knee down, gaze up. Exhale, forward fold to the front. Inhale, rise up. Hands extended to ceiling. Hands at your heart center, Samasthiti. Inhale, both the hands up. Exhale, hinge from your hips, folding over your legs. Step your left leg back, left knee down. Untuck your toes, gaze up. And step back, downward facing dog. Inhale into plank, knees, chest and chin. Into cobra as you inhale once again. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your left leg up, knee to your nose, step it forward in between your hands, right knee down, untuck your toes, gaze up. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold to the front. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, extending both the hands up to the ceiling, gaze at your fingertips. Exhale, hands at your heart center, Samasthiti. Inhale, extend both the hands up. Exhale, fold over your legs. Step your right leg back, right knee down, untuck your toes, gaze up. And step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, coming into a plank. Exhale, knees, chest and chin. And take you to slide forward into a cobra, lower belly will stay down. Exhale, downward facing dog. Staying in your down dog for 3 breaths. Just even if your heels are not pressing down on the mat, that's fine. See if you can gently bend your knees in order to bring your heels down on the mat. Maybe keeping your eyes open, gazing at your navel. Just allowing your breath to come back to neutral. When you're ready, inhale, lift your right leg up. Inhale, knee to your nose. Step your leg forward in between your hands. This time we will rise up into high lunge. So keeping your back knee off the mat. Inhale, extending both the hands up to the ceiling. So gently pushing your left hip forward, right hip back. See if you can lean your weight slightly forward to your front leg. Beautiful. When you're ready, inhale, bend your left knee, hovering it an inch off the mat and keeping your hips at the same height. See if you can just push your left heel back and find length in your back leg, right? Let's do it one more time. You can bring your hands on your hips if that feels better to you right now. So bend your left knee, hover it an inch off the mat, keep the same height of your hips and kick your left heel back, straighten your leg in your own capacity. This is spicy. Inhale, bend your left knee, hover it an inch off the mat and kick your heel back. This time extending your hands up, holding it for 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Exhale, release both the hands down on the mat. This time lean your weight in your right leg, kick your left leg up, coming into a standing split. Now again, remember, it doesn't matter how far your leg is able to go up. See if you can find your balance, rooting down from your right hip, maybe square your hips a little bit, kick your left heel away from yourself and then imagine it is trying to reach up as if you're trying to touch the ceiling with your left foot. Stay here for another breath. When you're ready, step your left leg back, tap your left knee down and tuck your toes. Inhale, you can grab your blocks once again. Straighten your right leg, coming into half split, half Hanuman, pointing your right toe up to the ceiling. Beautiful. Catch your breath over here. Inhale in. Exhale, lean your weight back into that lunge. This time, bring your hands or drag your blocks just below your shoulders. So if you're not using your blocks, you will bring your fingertips to be just below your shoulders. You can stay here or you can grab your blocks, bring them just below your shoulders and see if you can lean your weight forward. So this time we are kind of like working on our hip flexors. So the idea is to create length in the back side of your leg, because obviously when you come in Hanumansana, the back leg, the front side of your back leg is on the mat, right? So that is what we are working on over here, and we'll hold this for about 10 seconds. So really catching your breath, keep on leaning your weight forward. Imagine your left thigh, the front of your left leg is facing down on the mat. If your right knee is popping out, see if you can bring it back to the center. Keep on leaning your weight forward. One more breath. Exhale, taking a little break. Straighten your right leg, half split, half Hanuman. Point your right toe up to the ceiling. See if you can bend your elbows and fold over your legs, but still keeping that cobra spine. Inhale, lean your weight forward. This time you can release your block sideways. Bring your left forearm down on the mat. Maybe grab your right ankle with your left hand. Now, if this is enough for you, you can stay here. If this feels too much, another idea is to grab your block, maybe at whichever height you like, and bring your forearm on that block. Especially if you feel really unstable in your legs right now. So it's completely fine. Grab your blocks and place your forearm on top of it. Right? You can stay here. Just work on lengthening your hip flexors by allowing the front side of your left leg to come even closer to the mat in your own capacity. If it feels good, you can lift your left heel off the mat. Maybe grab your foot from the outside. Inhale, now kick your foot to your hand. Open up your chest, coming into this gentle twist. As you exhale, bring your heels to your glutes. Inhale, kick your foot to your hand. Exhale, heels to your glutes. Kick your foot to your hand. Exhale, heels to your glutes. Staying here for 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Exhale, slowly release. This time bringing your right hand inside of your right leg, coming into a lizard pose, and slightly start to move your right foot at the outer edge of the mat. When you're ready, you're going to tuck your left toe, left knee off the mat, and just take a couple of bounces over here, finding even more length in our hip flexors and our hamstrings right now. Keep on taking these pulses for a few more times. Beautiful. Exhale. When you're ready, you're going to step back, downward facing dog. Just clean it out. Inhale, come forward into a plank. This time you have an option to take chaturanga if that is in your practice, on knees, chest and chin, and take your toes, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Inhale, lift your left leg up. Knee to your nose, step your leg forward in between your hands. Rising up, high lunge. Beautiful. Once again, you can keep your hands overhead or bring it at your hips or maybe slightly at your lower back, pushing your hips forward. All right. Now bend your right knee, hover it an inch off the mat, and kick your heel back. Inhale, bend your right knee, hover an inch off the mat, kick your heel back. One more time, bend your right knee, hover, kick your heel back. Stay here, extend your hands up for 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Release both the hands down in line with your left foot. We're going to kick our right leg up, coming into standing split. You can keep both the hands grounded on the mat or grab your left ankle with your left hand. Kick your right leg up as if you can touch the toe to your ceiling. Again, it doesn't matter how far your leg is able to lift up. See if you can just skip that extension from your right leg by kicking your right heel away from yourself. One more breath. Exhale, step your leg back into that lunge shape. Tap your right knee down and take your toes. We will take a little break. You can grab your blocks over here if you like. Straighten your left leg, half split, half Hanuman. Again, keeping that cobra spine, pointing your left toe up to the ceiling. Catch your breath. Inhale when you're ready. Come back to your lunge, taking your hands on your block or fingertips on your mat. The idea is to keep your wrist, elbows and shoulders in one line wherever you are, and both the hips will also stay in one line. So if it looks something like this, if you're opening your hips up over to one side, then again it will give you an idea that you're really deep in your lunge, but that is just for self-gratification. It is just an illusion, right? So when we take ourselves away from this idea of really going deep into the pose and just trying to accept our practice as it is, we really start to see difference in our practice, right? So letting go of that attachment and see where you are right now. Keep your hips squared in your own capacity. Press your hands on your block. You can lift your chin away from the chest if it feels good. Staying here for a few more breaths. Maybe even going slightly deeper in your bend. If it feels good, you can gaze at the back of the room. Exhale, slowly come back to center. Release your block sideways. This time you will bring your right forearm down on the mat. Maybe grab your left ankle with your right fingertips. You can stay here if this is enough for you. Or maybe lift your right toe off the mat, heels to your glutes. You can grab your foot from the outside, and when you do so, kick your heel or kick your foot into your hand, finding this twist from your upper body. You can stay here or bring your heels to your glutes. Inhale, kick your foot to your hand. Exhale, heels to your glutes. Kick your foot to your hand. Exhale, heels to your glutes. Staying here for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release, bringing your left hand inside of your left leg, coming into a lizard. Maybe slightly just allow your left foot to be in line with the longer edge of the mat. Take your right toe, right knee off the mat, and we'll take a couple of bounces over here. So just going as fast, as slow as it feels good to you right now. Exhale when you are ready, stepping back, downward facing dog. Stay in your down dog or clean it out. Take your vinyasa if you like. Knees, chest to chin or chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Just staying in a down dog for 3 breaths. When you're ready, inhale, lift your right leg up. Knee to your nose, step your leg forward in between your hands, left knee down, untuck your toes. You're gonna grab your blocks this time. All right, when you're ready, just drag your right foot slightly away from yourself. Tuck your left toe, left knee off the mat, and we'll take a couple of pulses over here. Maybe keep on walking your right leg as far from yourself as it feels good. Doing this for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. From here, you can tap your left knee down, untuck your toes. Just stay wherever your legs have landed for now. Just holding this for about 10 to 20 counts. Again, keeping your weight upright rather than leaning over your front leg. Even if it looks something like this, it is completely fine. But see if you can walk your blocks to be in line with your shoulders, stretching out our hip flexors over here. Again, the idea is to be able to hold this for about 30 seconds, eventually for about a minute, without having this urge to literally get out of the pose. So try to find a spot where you feel challenged, but where you don't also feel like I want to just get out of this pose, right? So finding that sweet spot where you feel challenged, but not miserable. All right, when you're ready, you're going to slide your right leg forward this time in your own capacity. If you like, you can tuck your left toe, left knee off the mat, stay here, or maybe bring a block underneath your right leg. You can stay upright, increase the height of your block as far as it feels good. You can continue to stay here for 30 seconds. And rather than going directly into your deepest splits, we'll take our time to reach this. You don't have to directly go into a place where it feels like, oh my God, this is it. I have to hold this, and you're literally looking at your watch and seeing that, when am I going to get out of this, right? You can stay there. You can stay here if this is enough for you, or else you're going to take that block underneath your right leg, maybe stay there, or eventually with time we can come into our full splits. We are already in full splits, but yes, eventually with time we can actually find our back leg and our front leg to be on the mat in this two opposite direction. So holding this for about maybe 15 more seconds. If you feel balanced, feel free to extend both the hands up to the ceiling. You can gaze up. See that there is a back bend happening even in our splits, and that's why throughout this practice today I was emphasizing on keeping that cow spine from your upper body. Beautiful. Exhale. When you're ready, you're going to tuck your left toe and left knee on the mat. Slide your right leg closer to yourself. Come into that half split. Shake out your leg. Beautiful. Start to move your right ankle this time to your left wrist, coming into a pigeon pose. You can tap your left knee down on the mat, untuck your toes. If this feels too much, if you keeping your shin parallel to shorter edge of the mat feels too much, then you can bring your right ankle closer to your left inner thigh or to your left hip if that feels better to you. Feel free to stick a block underneath your right hip if that helps. And when you're ready, you can release your right forearm down, left forearm down. You can stay here or make a pillow with your hand. Rest your forehead on top of your hands. Again, finding that balance of sthira and sukham in our practice. So rather than constantly trying to work, we also need to take a moment to pause, a moment to rest. And only then we can show up with our 100% capacity again and again and again, right? So again, however your practice looked like today, see if you can accept it as it is without trying to modify it, without having an urge to contemplate, to deep analyze that practice, and know that the beauty of this video is that it's going to be here for a long time. So you have an opportunity to keep on practicing this again and again and again until it kind of like becomes your second nature. And that is where we really start to shift in our practice, when we keep on showing up again and again and again without any expectation or without any attachment. It is easy to do something one time, it is easy to do it twice, thrice, but the hardest part is to keep on doing it again and again and again and stay consistent with it. And that's when things starts to change, that's when things starts to move, not just physically but mentally as well. When you're ready, you're going to lift your head off your hands, come on your forearms, and then come on your palms. This time shifting your weight over to your right hip, you're going to drag your left leg forward, stacking both the knees together, coming into Gomukhasana. Again, if this feels too much, feel free to widen the distance between your legs a little bit, but in your own capacity, stack your knees together as if you're tying your shoelace. Alright, when you're ready, inhale, extend both the hands up. Exhale, fold over your legs, releasing your hands in front of you. If this feels too much, grab your blocks, bringing your hands on top of your blocks. Maybe your forehead is hanging somewhere in between. Maybe you're able to touch your forehead to your knee. Staying here for a breath, inhale. Exhale, lift your chin away from the chest. Now using the momentum of your hands, lift yourself up on your knees into that cross-legged or eagle-legged tabletop. Take your right toe, right knee off the mat, extending it to the back side of the mat. Beautiful. Extend your left leg back, coming into a plank. Push the floor away from yourself. Bend your elbows, see if you can hover an inch off the mat, chaturanga, and tuck your toes. Up dog, squeeze your inner thighs together, gazing up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Inhale, lift your left leg up. Knee to your nose, step your leg forward in between your hands, right knee down, and tuck your toes. Once again, grab your blocks. This time you're going to slide your left leg forward as far from yourself as you can. Once you feel you have reached at a point that feels challenging but not very miserable, you're going to tuck your right toe, right knee off the mat, and we'll take a couple of bounces over here, maybe for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. When you're ready, right knee will be on the mat. You can place a block underneath your left leg if you like. Again, holding this for about 30 seconds. Eventually, with time, when you do this practice again and again, you can pause the video and try to hold this for maybe a minute, maybe 2 minutes. But know that this extension of time should come organically rather than pushing yourself into a zone that feels really miserable. Also, every time you come in your split, see if you can work on it gradually rather than straight away going into the deepest form of your splits. Again, you can stay here. If this is enough, you can take that block underneath your hips. Maybe just keep your weight upright. Your wrist will stay below your shoulders. You can stay here. And eventually, with time, you can release both the hips on the mat. If you're balanced, you can keep your hands on your block. If you're balanced, extend your hands up, gazing at your fingertips. Hanumansana, monkey pose. One more breath. Exhale when you're ready. Release your hands on your block. Lift your hips off the mat. Walk your legs closer to yourself into that half split. Just releasing any pressure from our hamstring. And in your own time, walk your left ankle closer to your right wrist, coming into a pigeon pose. Left knee will be on the mat. Again, your left shin can stay parallel to the shorter edge of the mat, or else you can bring that ankle closer to your right inner thigh. Again, staying upright, you can grab your blocks over here, maybe come on your forearms. Again, staying here or making a pillow with your hand, resting your forehead on top of your hands. Staying here for a few more breaths. Just when you feel ready, lifting your forehead off your hands, coming on your forearms, slowly lifting your forearms off the mat, coming upright in your pigeon, shift some weight or shift your weight over to your left hip, dragging your right leg forward, Gomukhasana, stacking both the knees together, left on top of the right, kind of like you're tying shoelace. Again, if this feels too much, keep your legs can be slightly wider and not completely stacked, and that's fine too. So keep on bringing both the knees as close to each other as you can. Maybe they are completely stacked together. And when you're ready, inhale, extend both the hands up. Exhale, fold over your legs. Hands on your block or on the mat. Chin to chest. Maybe forehead to knee. Slowly lift your head away from your knees, walking both the hands back to yourself. This time taking both the hands behind you. Uncross your legs, bringing both the feet as wide as your mat. Just windshield wiper your legs side to side, taking your knees from one side to other. Inhale when you're ready, come back to center. You can touch the soles of your feet together, allow your knees to open up. You can stay here if this is enough into this upright position. Maybe interlace your fingers just in front of your toes. You can stay here or start to hinge from your hips in your own capacity. Baddhakonasana. Staying here for a few breaths. And did a lot of closed hip sequence, mostly a closed hip sequence today. So just to open up our legs sideways feels really good. So you can use your hands, maybe just press your knees side to side. Just bring your breath back to its neutral, slow and calm state. One more deep breath in. Side out. It's crazy as an adult how good it feels sometimes to just side out. Maybe one more time. Inhale in. Use some noise. Side out. Beautiful. When you're ready, lift yourself up into an upright position. If you're not there already, bringing both the knees together, soles of the foot on the mat. Bring your hands in front of you. How slow can you roll yourself on the mat? Just using some strength of your core to lie down. Almost there, and almost on the mat. Right leg forward, left leg forward, allowing both the hands to fall sideways, coming into a baby Savasana before we come into our actual Savasana. Just gently
Bringing your right knee to your chest, bringing your left knee to your chest, giving yourself a gentle hug. Maybe grabbing your opposite wrist, fingertips, or your elbows on top of your knees. Give yourself a gentle massage by rocking side to side. Inhale using that momentum. Draw both the knees over to the left, gazing over your right shoulder. Even if your knees are not touching on the mat, it is completely fine. Make sure your shoulders stay grounded though. Beautiful. One more breath over here. Exhale, come back to center. Taking both the knees to the right, gazing over your left shoulder. Beautiful. Exhale, come back to center. Knees to your chest. Apanasana, wind removal pose. Grabbing your opposite elbows, opposite wrist or fingertips. Heels to your glutes. As you inhale, fill in your belly with air. Exhale, hug your knees to your chest, side out. Inhale. Side out. Inhale in. Side out. Beautiful. When you feel ready, you're going to extend your right leg forward, left leg forward. Coming into Savasana, our final resting pose. So again, allowing your toes to fall sideways, allowing your palms maybe to face up. And if there is any other asana, if anything else that you will like to do, feel free to do it. And when you are ready, just start to close your eyes, giving yourself permission to stay here, completely surrendering to the present, completely surrendering to the now. And feel free to stay in your Shavasana for as long as you like. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice today. I hope to see you next time. From my heart to yours, Namaste.